Hey, good morning, everybody.
Shetty House.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. What do we got? Russ Dog got the belt today. Congratulations, Russ Dog.
Shout out Rest Dog. We got Steven in here, Manny. Smack 10.
What up, guys? Appreciate y'all dropping in early as hell. Lazy, it doesn't work when you say it, brother. It's not the same. It'd be like, it's like somebody going Kobe when they shoot a piece of trash at the trash can. That doesn't make you Kobe. You're just saying it.
Johnny G had it laid out yesterday. Had the first day of school outfit laid out, ready to go.
I had the outfit laid out, ready to go because my wife was like, "Don't wake me up."
My wife went to work before me still.
God damn. 30 seconds.
Gotcha.
Oh, and a ghost legal. Sick. Whoops.
Nah, Zabo, nah, Zabo. We got it worked out. We're all good.
This is my bad. I should have deleted that.
It's all good. Play through it.
That's fine. Everything's going wrong today. What up, guys? Good morning. Good morning. Ayo. All right, now we got 30. Sorry, I messed that up. I threw a PSA in and went, oh, I'll just watch that in the morning. I'll just make sure to delete it if we don't need it. And then we had everything else going on. I forgot to delete it.
It's all good. Locked in. High Times KG locked in. Stopped at the gas station this morning to pick up a drink. The cashier was a Dolphins fan. It's a big day.
Come on. Wow, that's so nice. Taking PTO for this.
Appreciate you.
All right, here we go. Hey, it's about that time.
Yes,
I'm Kyle Madsen. That's Jesse Tapia. Welcome into The Jump with Kyle Madsen and Jesse Tapia here on ESPN 1320. It's our debut show.
Lock in.
We're here, bro.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty amped right now.
Yeah, same. A little bit of some technical hiccups today, but we're gonna work through it. We're gonna play through it because that is what we do at this radio station on this program.
It's legit. The first time we ever did D-Lo and Casey, first episode, D-Lo goes, "Are we live?" So it's just kind of how it goes. We play through it. It is what it is.
We are live on 1320 AM and 98.5 FM HD2. We are live on YouTube and Twitch, youtube.com/ESPN1320, twitch.tv/ESPN1320. So hyped to be with you on hopefully your morning commute. Maybe you're just waking up and maybe we had somebody said they called in sick today just for us.
Shout out to that person.
Shout out using PTO.
Yeah, I hope you're using PTO. That's facts.
Well, we're here 5 days a week, so that's going to be a lot of PTO, but that's okay. We'll get through it together. Thanks everybody so much for hanging out with us. Really excited to do this show with you, Jesse. We're gonna just kind of dive right in because I think sitting here waxing poetic about how much we like each other would. We
did that on Friday.
Yeah, that's a Friday. That's a Friday thing. 916-909-1320, 916-909-1320 is the phone line if you'd like to join the conversation. We got, of course, the start of our new lineup today with the jump here 7 to 9. Rich Eisen, the entire Rich Eisen show is going to follow us from 9 to noon.
Shout out Rich, my favorite coworker.
At noon, yeah, ESPN 1320 is Rich Eisen.
Of course.
At noon, if you miss any of this program, it re-airs. So we'll be playing it back at noon. If something big happens with the Kings, if they make another trade like the DeAndre Hunter deal, we'll talk about it. We will be able to cut into the re-air and we will jump on live. Some version of ESPN 1320 talent will be on if there's breaking news in that 12 o'clock window. And then, of course, D-Lo and Casey in the afternoon drive, 2 to 6. Really, really fired up to have you here along with us. And We've got a couple other fun little announcements along the way.
Oh, nice.
But let's get started with the DeAndre Hunter deal. So Saturday,
Twitter was lit for this one.
Yeah, it was, man. So the Kings acquired DeAndre Hunter. In case you missed it, Dennis Schroeder and Keon Ellis go to the Cavaliers. Dario Saric went out in the deal, and a second-round pick, the Kings' 2029 second-round pick, also went out in the deal to Chicago because Chicago stepped in to facilitate that trade. Are we thumbs up or thumbs down? Where are we at on the DeAndre Hunter trade 2 days later?
Is it possible? I know maybe it's not the best take for the first show and all that. Can I go thumbs sideways for right now?
No, you're on the radio.
All right, fine. I want to go thumbs sideways. I don't know what they're gonna do with DeAndre Hunter because the trade happened and look at Keon Ellis is great, but I'm not sure. We'll talk to Michael Scotto later on.
We will.
Yeah, we'll talk to him later on around 8:00. I'm not sure if a first round pick was ever available for Keon Ellis. So if you're asking me, hey, yeah, you could have DeAndre Hunter or 2 second round picks. DeAndre Hunter's having a down year, but I mean, it's kind of the outlier on his career. So I guess I'm gonna go thumbs up for right now. There's a lot more to talk about with this trade and the fact that Scott Perry had to trade away not his first signing, but one of his big signings of the offseason and things like that, and Dennis Schroeder. So there's more to talk about it, but I do like DeAndre Hunter right now.
Yeah,
so thumbs up. If I can't go thumbs sideways, then.
All right, I'll go thumbs down. I'll do that.
Fighting on show one.
No, man, it just like DeAndre Hunter's fine. He's aggressively fine. I like that. Here's what I like about it. I like that they identified a player who is taller than 6'4".
Yes, for the first time in about half a decade.
He is
maybe a little bit more.
He is a two-way player. He's a good to above average to good defender. He is, like you said, having a down year offensively, but still he's a career 36% three-point shooter. He's 44.8% from the field for his career. 15 points, 4 boards, a couple assists. Like he's a fine addition.
Yeah,
like but I don't think that this was that. And I know our very own James Ham reported that the Kings are excited to see what DeAndre Hunter looks like alongside Keegan Murray. I'm not doubting that, but at the same time, he's 28. He turns 29 early in next season while he becomes an expiring contract. I don't think they acquired DeAndre Hunter because they said, oh, this is the missing piece. We have enough DeAndre Hunter sample size to know he's fine.
Like is he a piece though? I mean, the missing piece is kind of like the missing piece is kind of a bigger player, I guess. But can he be a piece here?
Sure, I guess. But he's. I mean,
I guess my question too would be like, what were you looking for then? Because like I said, I don't know that the first round pick existed.
Okay, but right, and this is where
what was there for them.
This is where I don't mind the trade as much as I mind how we got here. If that makes sense.
Oh yeah, like I said, there's a lot more context to it.
Yeah, so like in a vacuum, cool. You clear out Dennis Schroeder and Keon Ellis. We saw immediately Nick Clifford gets to start at point guard last night with Russell Westbrook out. We see the immediate impact of that. Nick Clifford got a ton of minutes last night. That's going to be a really big deal moving forward. You get a two-way player who's at the very, very least, DeAndre Hunter is in the mold of player that we've been talking about the Kings needing for years.
Yeah, I would have loved him next to De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis.
Yeah, right. Where was this 3 years ago? But yeah, because in the last season he was 4th in 6 Man of the Year voting. Like this is not a bad player. So I like that they identified a player like this and said, okay, if we're going to salary dump Dennis Schroeder and we're going to get Keon Ellis out of here because he's not part of the long-term future, at least you got another defender. And at least you got a player who has, throughout his career, been a player that teams have to at least worry about on the three-point line. Again, he's not shooting it well this year, but I would imagine we start seeing that tick back up. His career low is 30.8% from 3 right now. His career low is 32.6, and that was in his second season.
So yeah, for the most part, I feel like he's been around 35 to like 39 in his career.
Yeah, he shot 40.5% last year, 38.5 the year before that, 35 the year before that, 38 the year before that. Like he's been a good 3-point shooter. So they identified a 3-and-D wing and they brought him in, and we'll see what he looks like next to Keegan Murray, and that's cool. 2 thumbs up. The problem comes in the fact that by the trade deadline, they were already having to salary dump Dennis Schroeder. because when they signed him, Scott Perry said, "We need a point guard. We need a point guard. The Kings need a point guard. This is what this roster needs." It was not Dennis Schroeder.
Yeah, the move didn't really make sense when it happened.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, that's tough. You're not every GM is going to hit all the time. Even the best GMs swing and miss. But the fact that they go and trade for Dennis Schroeder and then immediately go sign Russell Westbrook, who ostensibly fills that same role, and then you draft a player in the first round who you think can maybe do some point guard things.
Which in theory sort of buries the guy that you just traded away as well to Cleveland.
Right.
Keon Ellis.
Right. Who we talked about, you saw all the people breathlessly defending like, oh, well, it was actually good that they didn't pick up his, or that they exercised his team option, because now they have all this time to sign him to an extension while saving money this year. That's actually really smart. And it turns out like, oh no, they just weren't that interested in having Keon Ellis on their basketball team.
Yeah, that never made sense to me. The whole, we won't pick up his option or whatever, we'll sign him later on. It's like, yeah, you got him buried on the bench right now. Why would Keon Ellis want to sign here and stick around here where like he's where everyone talks, he's got suitors and he can be somewhere else. Like that never really made sense to me. It was always, the Kings, it was always headed toward divorce, I guess. Divorce is a tough word, but
no, but it was. And then you see that, we've got Mark Stein reporting that there's 15 teams that have called on Keon. And you're going, man, are they going to turn this undrafted guy into a first round pick? And then they don't. And that's where I feel underwhelmed, I think. And not that I thought they were going to go get a ton for Dennis Schroeder, not that I thought they were going to go get a ton for Keon Ellis, but when it looked like, man, they might get a first round pick for Keon Ellis, that would be huge. Oh, the Cavs are interested, man. If you could get a Cavs pick, maybe that's in the early 20s. Like, oh, that'd be kind of interesting.
Well, I thought maybe Boston was the team that could offer up a first, but I mean, we read later on with Sam Amick's athletic piece that they kind of
you saw Boston back out. You saw, what was it, Minnesota backed out. There are a bunch of the Giannis thing threw everything kind of into flux.
Yeah.
And so and then you don't wind up with a first round pick. You end up trading a second round pick. And this was basically pulling the plug on, the Dennis Schroeder move didn't work. Man, I have a really hard time being super thrilled about a move when the impetus behind the move is erasing this mistake.
Yeah,
that we made.
I don't even know if I'd say I'm super thrilled. Like I said, I give a thumbs up. I wouldn't say I'm thrilled or anything about it. I think just for the fact we don't even know if DeAndre Hunter's going to be here long term or just what his place is on this team.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was kind of like, we couldn't get the first pick that we wanted. So what's next? What are you looking for now? Cleveland's offering up DeAndre Hunter. Let's take a flyer here and see what that's looking like.
Yeah.
Because I mean, if you trade for DeAndre Hunter and he ends up leaving after next year and you didn't offload him for anything, it's like, okay, that's another strike on you again. So that's why I'm kind of like, I'm sideways on the move, because it's like, what exactly is your plan with Hunter? I don't hate it, but also I need to see the vision a little bit more.
Yeah. I kind of wonder, 916-909-1320, 916-909-1320, if you'd like to join the conversation. Are you thumbs up or thumbs down on the DeAndre Hunter trade? I think I'm thumbs down right now, because if this is it would feel, like I said, pretty underwhelming. Not bad, not
underwhelming because you didn't get a first round pick?
Yeah, just, underwhelming that if this is the only trade they do, if this is the only trade they're able to execute, I wouldn't feel great about it. It would fine. It's fine. I don't, and maybe that's the equivalent to thumb sideways.
It's never great though. It's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, no,
like,
seriously,
it's not great.
No one's ever
it's not good. Yeah.
It's fine.
Nope. Let's talk about it actually.
So if this is it, again, I see the vision. He's a two-way player. He doesn't have to have the ball in his hands a ton. Teams have to defend him at the 3-point line. He plays some defense. He's switchable with Keegan Murray. You can play Keegan at the 3 more. Like, okay, you start to see this fall into place. But is this a long-term piece for you? A guy who turns 29 next year? Does he fit your timeline?
Maybe he could be what Harrison Barnes was to the last group.
Okay, and maybe that's it. Maybe that's what he's going to be. And maybe that's the vision. Okay, cool. He's an expiring, and if he plays great, you can trade him as an expiring next year, or excuse me, if he's not playing great, you can trade him as an expiring next year, or he plays great and you go, hey, let's sign this guy to a reasonable long-term deal. Maybe that's what this is, and maybe he's just one of the kind of elder statesmen on whatever the next version of the Kings is. I have no idea. But I would feel like if this is the move they make and they go into the offseason with Domantas Sabonis still on the roster, with Zach LaVine still on the roster, with Malik Monk still on the roster, I would feel like, oh, we're back in the exact same position that we were, because it never felt like when they signed Dennis Schroeder, it never felt like, hey, Dennis Schroeder's a long-term answer here.
No, that was just like, you need a point guard. You need to sign somebody. You want to try at least be a little competitive. Dennis Schroeder's available. Let's pick up Dennis Schroeder. Like, it wasn't like,
and everybody
even thought anything of it, really.
And everybody went, oh, dude, you'll at least be able to trade him at the deadline.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody could always use a Dennis Schroeder. So that was always a player that, like, yeah, hey, he was kind of tagged to be traded the second they signed him, or traded for him, I should say. Like, he was tabbed to be traded. Okay, cool. Keon Ellis, it became very clear throughout the year, oh, that's what this is. He's very likely going to be traded, and more up until Saturday, it was the momentum was building toward a deal happening. So it would just feel like, okay, they did the bare minimum. They traded the two players that everybody knew they were going to be able to trade. If they go into the offseason, they still have Domantas Sabonis, they still have Zach LaVine, they still have DeMar DeRozan's a little different because he's only guaranteed for $10 million next year. But they still have those three players under contract. That would, to me, and maybe I'm just in the doldrums because they've lost 9 in a row now.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just kind of down in general. But that would, if the big takeaway from this year is like, oh yeah, their first round pick and the expiring contract of DeAndre Hunter next year. Like, all right, man, I guess.
We'll look to the chat house, that other James in there. He says, unfortunately, if Perry can't move Sabonis or LaVine, how can we put that on Perry? We knew that we knew what these contracts were when they signed or traded for. Like, I get that. They're tough deals. Monty McNair and Vivek put him in a tough spot, but also you're a GM in the NBA. Like, other GMs have had to work with worse.
Yeah,
it's tough because it's like, yes, you need takes 2 to tango, all the cliches you want to throw out there, but also like, just there's a time where like you need results. We did the same for Monty McNair when it was Vlade Divac's team, and you had to give him some time or whatever. That never ended up turning out to be anything, as we learned, and we'll see what Scott Perry does. But I don't love the like, it's not his fault yet, or like we got to wait. Like, I'm sorry, you got to make something happen.
Yeah, I don't even think I would put this on Scott Perry. I'm not going to go out here and say like, oh man, Scott did a horrible job.
I don't want to do the thing where we wait another year and a half and it's like, yeah, these contracts are just too tough. And
so
you're just waiting and waiting.
So that's what would feel underwhelming to me is when Scott Perry came in, all we heard about is like, oh, he has all these connections in the league. Everybody knows Scott. Everybody loves Scott. Yeah. Oh, he's going to be able to wheel and deal. And if he can't, then oof. And his first signing was Dennis Schroeder, which didn't go great. And again, this isn't like, oh wow, Scott Perry is on the hot seat, but
no.
Every year we've talked about this continually. I talked about it with Kenny on Friday. I don't think there's a realistic path to this being a like 2-year turnaround, where all of a sudden we look up, it's the start of the 2027 season, and we're like, man, can the Kings be a top 5 seed in the West?
It's just not an option they gave themselves. They just put themselves on this path where it's like, yeah, it's gonna hurt for a little while.
Right. Understand. Right. And so the reason I say I would feel underwhelmed is because if we go into next year in the same position, assuming Zach LaVine doesn't opt out, say he goes, no, I'm taking my $49 million, please. And Domantas Sabonis is still here. And DeMar DeRozan, the Kings go, well, we can't just let DeMar go. Like, we gotta keep him, and maybe we can trade him. Okay, cool. So you're going into next season, and you're just delaying what we all know is coming. If we go, man, this is going to take 4 or 5 years to really build this thing up, which when you look at Charlotte, when you look at Toronto, when you look at Detroit, all these teams who have kind of built in that quote-unquote traditional way, draft picks and then kind of key free agent signings, it takes a few years. And so every year that we kick the can down the road, whether it's Scott Perry's fault or not, it's like, man, all right, well, if we're kicking this can into next year, cool, we're delaying everything by another year.
The NBA doesn't care about your timeline either. Like, it might be nice where it's like, yeah, we got to build this out and blah, 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 but people want results. And it gets to a point where it's like, I'm going to need something here.
I kind of, I don't, they're in an even weirder spot. And maybe something happens. Maybe Domantas Sabonis gets traded. and we feel way different. And then Zach LaVine opts out, says, I want out of Sacramento so bad, I'm going to opt out. I'll take a long-term deal for less money somewhere else. And maybe we go into next offseason and they buy out DeMar DeRozan. And we go into next offseason really excited about a top, hopefully, fingers crossed, I'm manifesting the top pick in the draft. We're just going to manifest that. They walk in to the season with the top pick in the draft, Keegan Murray, Neat Clifford, DeAndre Hunter. Yeah, well, that Darren Peterson, right. So we go into next season feeling great. I'm open to having my mind changed. I'm open to feeling different. But the initial reaction after seeing the Kings acquired DeAndre Hunter for this is like, sure.
What would it take for you to be
good?
What would it take for you to be happy about this deadline? Then if they do end up moving Sabonis, if they're able to do that?
Yeah, I need one of the big contracts to go.
Yeah,
that would be the number one thing where you'd go, okay, cool. That you can accelerate this a little bit. You give yourself a little bit more flexibility. But until then, like, yeah, it's fine. I don't. It's really hard because I think in a vacuum, DeAndre Hunter would, like you said it, if this was the Beam team, the 22-23 season, and they acquired DeAndre Hunter, it'd be like, oh shoot, like, oh, this is going to be helpful. Like, DeAndre Hunter is a quality defender. You can mix and match him with Keegan, although Keegan wasn't the defender then that he is now.
Yeah.
But you have a more quality defender. You feel so good about what DeAndre Hunter brings. It's hard to evaluate because I think DeAndre Hunter makes the Kings like better, for lack of a better term, this year. But that's also not my concern right now.
Well, yeah, it doesn't mean anything right now.
That's it. And that's where it's like, did the Kings get better on the court? Like, yeah, probably. I think so. But I also don't care that much about that. In fact, I actively care about the opposite.
Well, yeah, Scott Perry or insert whoever wants to talk to us, come talk to us, please. Yeah, wants to talk or whatever. Yeah, wants to talk.
Give us a call.
Yeah, go ahead.
909-1320.
Yeah, hit us up. But
Tap
anyways,
in, bro.
Yeah, whoever wants to talk, Scott Perry, whoever, is just kind of like, yeah, this move makes us a better team right now, blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, I don't want to hear that right now. Tell me about how this is going to help you a few years from now or in the next couple of years. Because if it's right now, then it's like, yeah, this move is an L.
Man. 916-909-1320, 916-909-1320. Phone lines are open. Now, remember, we don't have a call screener. If you're new to the program or you're new to ESPN 1320, hello, hi, welcome in. We appreciate you so much hanging out. It's a two-man operation. This is me and Jesse.
Joe will be here tomorrow.
Joe Brazil.
Joe.
Is going to be with us a few days a week, though.
Yeah.
Salute to our guy, Joe. He's going to be hanging out with us. So we will have a call screener some days. On other days, we won't. And if we don't have a call screener, I can have one person on the line at a time. And right now I have somebody on the line.
Oh, do we really?
Yeah, you can hear.
Nice.
If it's person on the line, if you can hear me, hello, hi. We'll get to you in just a second. So that person on the line I can have there. If you tried to call right now while this person's on the line, it's just going to ring and ring and ring. So be patient. We're not ignoring you. It's just a matter of what we have technically right now. Cool? All right. That's Jesse. I'm Kyle. This is The Jump, the debut episode of The Jump right here on ESPN 1320. And Don, you're on the line. What's going on?
My name is not Don.
Oh.
My name is Stanley.
Shout out Stanley.
What up, Stanley? Sorry, our call screener got it wrong.
That's all right.
What's up, Stanley? What you got?
My point is we have regressed, and we cannot get it right because of one thing. They had the chance to get Trae Young, and they didn't do it. So, therefore, we are doomed to be repeating ourselves. I mean, this team is it's beyond futile. And I don't know why they didn't get Trae Young. We don't need DeAndre Hunter. That's what we needed, Trae Young.
Would you be satisfied, Stanley, if they went out and got John Morant?
Oh, heck no. I mean, from a talent standpoint, but you can't depend on this guy. How long? First of all, I mean, even if you looked at, say, the social problems, okay, that's one thing. But then, how long is he gonna play before he get hurt?
Right.
He's gonna get hurt. I mean, the high flying act looks good. I'll be the first to tell you he's entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're talking about long term, you know, and I know that he's going to wind up getting hurt.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for the call, Stanley.
All right.
Thanks, bud.
Shout out
Appreciate you.
Stanley. What a leadoff.
Salute.
What a leadoff hitter for us.
I think that's the first time that Stanley has ever called a program that I've hosted.
Oh, nice.
That's so big time for me.
I hope Stanley's locked in. Shout out
that.
Stanley.
I love that for us. 916-909-1320, 916-909-1320.
I with Stanley. I like Trae Young. I wanted Trae Young when that was an option, but
I do
the Kings
too.
didn't.
I do too, man.
I don't buy into the whole, hey, this guy doesn't play any defense. He's useless. You can't do anything with him. I think that's lazy. I think we're giving GMs a pass, and like there are ways to build around that player. I've seen a team build around Isaiah Thomas. Like, you can do it. Trust me. It's just a matter of you need the right pieces. But I don't know if it's an aprons thing or whatever, but like you can build around that player. And Trae Young hasn't been this big winner or anything like that. But up until like this season's Hawks team, like how many times has he really had that opportunity to go far?
I think the larger issue with Trae Young is I've compared it to Brock Purdy, where very obviously a good player. And Trae might be like not apples to apples. Just follow my comparison here. But you can pay that guy. You can pay Brock Purdy $53 million a year. But when you start talking 60, 61 million, where now the requisite level of talent around him is going to by nature get worse because you have less money to give out, it affects like how you feel about that player.
Yeah.
And that was where I think the issue came in with Trae Young is okay, Trae Young at $40 million a year, cool, 2 thumbs up for all the things you just said. Like, he's a playmaker who you can surround him with the right players. He's going to make guys better. That's great. But if he wants a max contract, it becomes a lot more difficult to kind of surround him with those pieces.
I'm not going to act like the money isn't tough or anything like that, but also I don't think it's like paying a Zach LaVine or like how we talk about Domantas Sabonis' contract here or anything like that. Like, I think it's not just like empty numbers. I think if you pay a Trae Young, like, it's tough to pay him that much money, but I think you can win if you put the right guys around him. Like, yeah, you can't get these top tier guys or whatever, but yeah, you put some solid defenders around him. I think you can win.
916-909-1320, 916-909-1320. I accidentally hung up on Mitch. Mitch, I'm so sorry.
Mitch.
Don, you're on the jump. What's going on, Don?
Is this am I Don right now?
Yeah, you're Don. Yep.
Shout out Don.
All right.
Everybody's Don.
All right. Hey. Yeah.
What's your real name?
Mike.
Mike. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah. So I didn't hear all of what you're talking about the trade, but I got the gist that you guys, aren't fans, which 100% agree. But I think it's even worse than kind of what it looks like on paper, because that's getting rid of Sarge and having to throw in a second. Like, we also got rid of a fantastic center in Jonas Valanciunas for Sarge. So it just, I mean, on paper, it just, like you said, yes, maybe we're better for this year, but nobody wants that. A. B, it takes on more money. Hunter's older than Keon. Like, I just tried to look at so many different ways to find a positive, and I can't find a single one. Like, we're older, we took on more money, we lost draft capital, we're better in a year, we're tanking. Like, that's 0 for 4. I don't know what is possible for a positive here. And Perry's GM, I know what they're going to talk about, it takes years, but boy, what a bad first year. Like, you have to attach assets to drop your prized offseason signing, and then this trade, it doesn't give people a lot of like confidence, as like a fan going forward with Perry.
All right, thanks for the call, Mike. Appreciate you.
Mike ain't wrong.
That's so.
It's gonna be a rough first year, but like, I mean, if we did a pros and cons list, shout out The Office, Jim and Michael Scott. But if you did a pros and cons list, it's like there's probably a couple more strikes on his cons list right now.
Probably, but
again,
I think there's
ugly.
Everything is about long term, and I understand, erasing some of the mistakes from this offseason, I don't think is the worst thing. But I also hear where Mike's coming from.
Yeah.
The fact that the positives of this deal are derived from mistakes they made 6 months ago.
That's what I'm saying. The cons list.
Like, that's pretty tough. 916-909-1320, 916-909-1320. If you'd like to join the program, we got to step aside. We're going to continue talking about this DeAndre Hunter trade. There's a ton of layers to it that we have to get to. We'll talk about what the starting lineup looks like. We'll get to some other lineup stuff. Nick Clifford got a start last night. What does that mean for the Kings moving forward? The Raiders have hired their head coach. The 49ers have hired their DC. Well, the Raiders look like they're going to have hired their head coach. It's not official yet. Looks like the 49ers found their defensive coordinator. Plus, Michael A. Scotto from Hoops Hype. He broke the trade. He broke the Kings-Cavs trade. We're going to talk to him about this deal. And then Chris Biderman from the Sacramento Bee has been on the road with the Kings through this entire brutal, cold road trip. What was it like on the road? What does Chris think is going to be coming down the pike? We'll talk to Chris Biderman from the Sacramento Bee at 8:30. Tons coming up over the next couple hours. That's Jesse Tapia. I'm Kyle Madsen, and this is The Jump on ESPN 1320, Sacramento Sports Leader. Okay, great. Can you please remind me to do what the dude, this is tough. I have too much going on. Remind me to do underdog, please.
Shout out Stanley, being our first caller. Gave me all the confidence in the world.
Love that.
Shout out. Shout out Mike, too.
There we go. Okay, so now I need to take this.
What's up, Charismatic? Shout out Norm. Nah, Russ, I didn't. Like I said, I'm out, man. I wasn't even really, truly curious. What's up, Gary? Tim, yeah, it's not like when we say there's a strike on Scott, it's not like he's on the hot seat or anything like that. Just more so talking about the moves that have happened, but he gets some time.
There's that. Take that.
Shout out to Mateo Chino. You see that, Ash? We got the sunrise during the show. Lock in.
Yeah, it's huge. It's also right in my face, but it's fine.
I need you to lock in. Like I said, lock in. Yeah.
What up, guys?
Stevie B, we will be getting some sharks in at points. I don't think we're spending a half hour on Macklin Celebrini or anything like that, but we're tapped in.
Hey, by the way, that Sharks game we were going to go to can't go anymore.
That's all good.
My homie's baby showers that day.
Oh, I get it. Yeah.
He's a huge Sharks fan, though, so maybe I can see if they can move it from his mother-in-law's house to the tank.
Well, yeah, I'm sure
and you can just pull up.
I think I had my 18th birthday party there.
Yeah, dude. Bring some diapers, you'll be set. All right, here we go.
Welcome back to The Jump with Kyle Madsen and Jesse Tapia.
Hey, Ma, you hear that? I got a radio show.
Isn't that sick? Want to hear it again?
Shout out to the,
Welcome back to The Jump with Kyle Madsen and Jesse Tapia.
Damn right.
Hell yeah, man. Jesse's over there. I'm Kyle. We're hanging out with you until 9 o'clock.
9.
Almost at noon. That's
I almost scheduled today's stream for 10.
No, you can't.
Like,
No. It's a different,
idiot.
completely
We're on
different,
at 7 o'clock.
completely different program now. Just a reminder, this is the debut show of The Jump. We're going to be here 7 to 9 a.m. every single day. This show re-airs at noon. But coming up at 9, ESPN 1320's Rich Eisen.
Yeah, shout out Rich.
The Rich Eisen Show will be live from 9 to noon. The Jump re-airs from noon to 2. And then, of course, D-Lo and KC from 2 to 6. And a reminder that D-Lo and KC features a commercial-free hour starting at 2:30. If you hop in your car at 2:30 and you have a long commute home, it takes you 45 minutes, take you 50 minutes, takes you half an hour, doesn't matter. You're not going to hear D-Lo and KC go to commercial from 2:30 to 3:30.
Yeah, he won't. Trust me, you won't. I won't send him a break. I'll still be there. I won't send him a break.
Plus, today, James Ham is going to join them at 2:30 to break down everything that's going on with the Kings.
Shout out Hammer.
So lock in D-Lo and KC. Begins at 2 o'clock with that commercial-free hour starting at 2:30. Along with James Ham at 2:30, we have Michael A. Scotto from Hoops Hype at Mike A. Scotto, Scotto. He's going to join us at 8 o'clock. He broke the news of the Cavs-King trade. He had the framework of it, and we're going to talk to him about what were the Cavs' motivations here, what were the Kings' motivations here. I also want to ask him, it's like, okay, cool. You had the Kings Cavs trade. What's going to happen with Giannis?
Yeah.
He's just going to tell us what's going to happen.
He's going to tell us, well, Kyle, Jesse, my good friends, this is what's going to happen. He's going to go here, and this is what he's going to be traded for.
Yeah. So lock in. We'll have that for you at 8 o'clock. And then Chris Biderman, who's been with the Kings on this entire road trip, is going to join us at 8:30. Chris Biderman, of course, of the Sacramento Bee and the famed Candlestick Chronicles podcast. Hey, guess what?
What?
I can't tell you exactly what we've got. What in the world? Why didn't that work? There we go. Okay. I can't tell you exactly just yet what we have going on because
what did your computer die or something?
No, I don't want to put the cart before the horse. But we have some other fun, exciting changes coming. Not changes, additions to ESPN 1320. Not a new show or anything.
To be honest, I have no clue what you're talking about. Maybe you told
I don't
me?
want to. I'll find out from our people if we can say exactly what we have.
Yeah, no, seriously.
But it's not going to.
No clue what's going on.
It's not going to happen for a couple of weeks, which is why I don't want to say anything now, just in case something falls through and all of a sudden. But anyways, we're thrilled that the homies over at Mojo's Local Tap and Kitchen
Mojo's
are joining the family here at Odyssey Sacramento, and specifically with ESPN 1320. It is right down middle of downtown, right around the corner from Golden One Center. It is right in the shadow of one of the best buildings in Sacramento, the Memorial Auditorium at 15th and I. When me and my friends go to Mojo's, we just park right there by the Memorial Auditorium, and then we hoof it the 50 feet or whatever it is to Mojo's. They have 40 craft tap handles with the best California-only beers, ciders, and seltzers, wine, and specialty beverages. They love their Northern California hometown breweries. We love this city. We love Sacramento. It's part of the reason we do what we do. And Mojo's is through and through dyed-in-the-wool Sacramento. That is everything that bar and is about. It's an indoor-outdoor space. They have a ton of TVs. They have a wall dedicated to the Kings and Kings fans. They have a wall dedicated to the A's. They've got a wall dedicated to Sac Republic. They are dog-friendly. In fact, dog-forward. They bring your dog if you're into that kind of thing.
Shout out to the dogs.
Great beer selection. The food is incredible. Like I went there for the first time. My buddy Frank goes, "Hey, I want to try Mojo's downtown." I'd never heard of it. I was like, "Sure, we can go over there." So we go down there. I was like, "Cool, I'll have a beer and I'll have whatever food they're going to give me because, I'm hungry." So food was delightful. Ordered more food because the food was so good. And it's just a regular spot for us now. If we're going to go out downtown, we always start at Mojo's. Drop by Mojo's before a Kings game. Like I said, walking distance to the arena. Really, really cool spot. And they're joining the family here at ESPN 1320, and we're thrilled to have them. They have, if you're looking for somewhere to watch, I can't say the name of it, The Big Game. The Seattle-New England
This
matchup.
massive game that's going on between the two best teams in the league where trophies will be handed out. That game.
The skirmish between the Seattle club and the New England club.
The game with a half-hour halftime show.
If you're looking for a place to watch it, just head over to Mojo's. They're going to have it on. They're going to have a ton of TVs. And, of course, like I said, they're going to have good beer, good food, good wine, whatever, however you want to do. There's a ton of space. Like I said, indoor, outdoor. It's a really, really cool spot.
It's a vibe, basically. It's a vibe.
The vibes are way up. And like I said, they're Sacramento through and through, which is, what we want to be here on this station. It's what we are here on this station. And it's what we want to be here at this cluster. So the partnership just made a ton of sense. And we've got some really exciting stuff with Mojo's coming up. So make sure and check them out. 15th and I. You can park right there. You can't miss it. It's right there on the corner. It's a beautiful building. Really, really good spot. Love Mojo. Shout out to Mojo's. I would have done that even if they hadn't joined the ESPN 1320.
Shout out Mojo's.
I mean, I've been going there.
Yeah.
But now you see me in there a lot.
Shout out Sacramento, too. This is actually this is my 10th year living in Sacramento.
Man.
Yeah. It's gone by hella fast. But shout out Sac.
When did I started going to college here? We'll get back to the Kings in just a second. I started going to, so my,
how much we love Sacramento real
my
quick.
first year of college, was 2008, September of 2008. I moved up here because I went home the first summer. I went home my second summer, and then I moved up here full time. So it's 08 to 09, 09 to 10 in 2010. Then I moved to Arizona for a couple of years, moved back home. I've been in Sacramento off and on since 2010.
Yeah, shout out. I've been here since 2015.
this
Fall 2015. Shout out Sacramento State. Shout out to the State
Sac
Hornet.
State. Stingers up, baby. All right. That's Jesse Toppy. I'm Kyle Madsen. This is The Jump. Talking a ton about this DeAndre Hunter trade. How would we feel about it if they, because I was obviously immediately went in and started messing around with the trade machine. How would we feel about this if they flip DeAndre Hunter for Jonathan Kuminga?
A lot better.
Because DeAndre Hunter and any of the Warriors minimum guys or low-level salary guys, Gary Payton II, Quentin Post, Guy Santos, like whoever, pick your lower salary guy. What you're thinking?
Well, it's just like, well, you can say your point is just kind of like, why wouldn't you just flip Keon Ellis and Dennis Schroeder to Golden State, I guess?
Because they didn't want him.
Well, they want Dennis Schroeder, but the Keon Ellis thing, I guess, is what I'm stuck on. But all right, go ahead.
But if they go DeAndre Hunter to Golden
State,
State,
up on my thinking face, by the way.
If they want, I would hope you wouldn't just sit there staring at the ceiling. If they flip DeAndre Hunter for Jonathan Kuminga, and let's just Gary Payton II, we'll just use that. Would we feel better about this?
I would feel better, I guess.
I think I would.
I like Jonathan Kuminga. I think he'd fit that timeline that people were talking about here, and his game is probably a little better right now than DeAndre Hunter. Right now, DeAndre Hunter, you're hoping DeAndre Hunter right now having a career worst season, hoping that he kind of comes back to what he's been, and if he does, like, you're kind of taking a risk there. I think Kuminga, you're more just giving an opportunity to.
Yeah, it would. I think
there's less of a risk with Jonathan Kuminga.
I think it would. I think there's way more risk with Jonathan Kuminga, but I also feel like there's more potential upside. If you're just out on Kuminga as a player, that's fine. I'm not gonna blame anybody who's like, man, I just don't. It's not what the Kings are giving up for him. I just don't think he's going to be good, so I don't want him on the Kings, and that's fine. In which case, trading DeAndre Hunter for him, you'd obviously be thumbs down on. But that would make more sense to me, just from a timeline perspective. Does this help the Kings this year? Like, probably not. But again, that's not the goal. The goal would be, because you have that team option on Jonathan Kuminga's contract, you can pick that up. You've got him for 20-ish million. Was it 22, 23 million next year? You'd have Jonathan Kuminga for next year, and then you can see how he fits, and you can see what this looks like long-term with a player who's like 23 years old. I think there's way more long-term upside there than the DeAndre Hunter part of this.
Yeah.
Unless, like I said, they love DeAndre Hunter and they see him as a player that is going to be part of their team into 2028 and beyond as this kind of veteran leader, because he'll be 30 by then. Maybe that's how they view this. But it wouldn't shock me at all if they turn around and flip DeAndre Hunter in a Jonathan Kuminga deal. And if that's a player that they really covet, they really feel good about, where you're effectively acquiring Jonathan Kuminga for a 2029 second-round pick, Keon Ellis and Dennis Schroeder, and Dario Saric. Like, sure, if that was the trade, I don't think people would hate it. Like I said, unless you're out on Jonathan Kuminga.
Yeah, no, I feel a lot better about it. Like the DeAndre Hunter thing, I'm kind of in the middle, probably leaning a little bit towards it being a good. I don't even know where I fall, to be honest. Like, I think it's a good thing, but also I need to know where the Kings fall as far as their direction and how they feel about him.
Sure.
Like, I'm not sure what their plan is exactly. And to be honest, I haven't known what their plan is for a little while, but we'll see how it plays out. But like, yeah, if you flip him for Jonathan Kuminga, it's like, okay, I see the vision there. It's a guy who fits here more and things like that. So yeah, I'd rather than go with Kuminga, but I don't even know if that's going to be an option.
Tyler Jennings in the YouTube chat. YouTube.com/ESPN1320 is the chatty house. And that is where, because we don't have a text line yet, that's the chatty house. That's where we get kind of our text, and we interact with you guys there, and we'd love to hang out with you over on the YouTube side. He asked, would the Warriors want to do that? I think they would, because DeAndre Hunter could played for them, I think. He's a guy who I would immediately go into their rotation in a way that Jonathan Kuminga doesn't. And so I think they would do that. It's one extra year of money. I know they don't want to take on a ton of money, but you wouldn't be in that case. It's one extra year. So I think they would do that. Yeah,
if Scott Perry were to be able to pull that off, that's a strike on his pros list for me. But like I said, we'll see what happens with that. Go ahead. It seems like something where I'm not sure what the Warriors are really looking for. And you feel like DeAndre Hunter might be someone who's like, hey, like, you didn't want anything else we offered. Like, would you take this? It feels like something where it's like, maybe. But like I said, I have no clue what the Warriors are even trying to do at this point.
We've talked about this a little bit. How like the Kings aren't trying to win this year. And you texted me last night while the Kings were coming back against the Wizards.
Yep.
You're like, dude, they got to lose this.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
hey,
what are they doing?
Look, hey, you want to beat the Clippers? That's fine. You want to beat the Lakers? Cool. I'm with you. But and we're playing the Wizards tonight.
That's a loss you got to have.
I'm going to need you to lose this ball game.
Loss you gotta have.
Yeah. Zach LaVine, show out. Everyone relax. I'm going to need you to lose today.
The Zach LaVine 1 for 5 in the fourth quarter was tough.
Oh, yeah. He got that ball at the end of towards the end of the fourth quarter where he pulls up. About 5 seconds left.
Going in.
Oh, no. Oh, still time left on the clock when the Wizards get the ball back. Yeah, that was a tough shot.
I was so sure that ball was going in. Just the way it's like, man.
I don't love how early took it.
Of all the games that they have like Zach LaVine comes through in the fourth quarter, it's this one. This one that they gotta lose. But again, I still can't root for losses. That's not a thing that I am.
Low-key, I was rooting for a loss. I'm not even gonna lie. Usually I'm not, but yesterday I was like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm with, like, I get it.
For the pick, Kyle, for the pick.
No doubt. Yeah,
can you imagine getting to whatever it is, beginning of May or whatever, and it's like, yeah, the Kings missed out on one lottery ball because they beat the Washington Wizards on, what was it, February 1st?
No doubt.
Like, you don't do that for the Wizards. Like I said, the Clippers, Lakers, whoever else, damn, the Warriors, go ahead, beat them. But Wizards, like, you're kind of competing with them right now.
Okay, well, let's
compete in the
look at it, because I want to spin this forward a little bit. So you got a great loss last night. 2 thumbs up. What does this look like once DeAndre Hunter's here?
I mean,
is your starting lineup, I assume, is Domas once he's healthy. DeAndre Hunter. Let's Kings healthy version. Okay. DeAndre Hunter, Keegan Murray, Zach LaVine, Neek, DeMar DeRozan and Neek. Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan, no point guard. Russell Westbrook.
Jeez.
So,
maybe bring DeMar off the bench.
But and maybe this is where the Kings would say, like, no, Domas, you're doing injury management the rest of the year, and he just doesn't play.
Yeah.
My concern would be that if the Kings get healthy, because they were trying to win last night. Doug Christie wanted to win that game last night.
Yeah, Doug Christie wants to win every game.
Right. They were. This is not Zach LaVine played 35 minutes. DeMar DeRozan played 32 minutes. DeMar DeRozan was cooking to start the fourth quarter. It wasn't, nope, got to get DeMar off the court. Let's get Daquan Plowden in there. It wasn't that at all. It was very much they were trying to win.
I tell you what, though, when it was Plowden, who else?
Isaiah Stevens,
Drew Eubanks, Devin Carter, and DeMar DeRozan. I was like, damn, this is tough.
That was brutal.
Yeah.
I felt like I was watching the Niners defense against the Eagles. Like, is that Garrett Wallow? What in the world? But I worry, again, worry is tough because I'm not rooting for them to lose. I'm not actively rooting for the Kings to lose. I can't.
You're not rooting for them to lose, but you also know what it is with that draft pick in the lottery.
No, totally.
Yeah.
But is there a version of the Kings that's just like, because of DeAndre Hunter, is too good?
Oh no, I don't
like they're a little bit better than they need to be, and all of a sudden they win 4 or 5 in a row, and they take themselves out of that bottom 3.
I don't think so. And if that were to be the case, maybe that's a little, maybe it's a little bit of a good thing because you're not going to the play-in, and the Mavericks just got the first pick of the draft. I mean, coming out of the play-in.
Yeah, for sure.
So walk with me here.
Okay.
Like if you're playing better because of DeAndre Hunter, I'm assuming that DeAndre Hunter's able to move a little better because his knees aren't hurting as much or whatever, and the 3 ball's falling a little bit more. So I don't think that necessarily be a bad thing. I don't think it's something that will happen, but like if that were to take place, it's like, oh, maybe the Kings got something. Maybe they did hit on this little flyer that they took.
Maybe.
Like I said, I don't think it's happening. I don't think DeAndre Hunter's coming into the Sacramento Kings like, oh no, like they're gonna make the play-in and they're gonna make.
Not that.
Well, no, I'm doing the extreme, but just more so like he's gonna take them out of the bottom 5 right now. They're the bottom 5. They're a bottom 5 team in the league, if not the worst right now. Like you're not dropping out of the bottom 5, if not bottom 3. I don't think
they're the only team in the league with 12 wins.
Yeah, like I think you're just fine trading for DeAndre Hunter. I don't think it's really affecting your situation, and if it does, then damn, DeAndre Hunter just really turned up and like.
But it's not.
Shout out Scott Perry.
But that's just, and that's why it's not just DeAndre Hunter.
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't think it's like this group. I don't think it's DeAndre Hunter in this group. I don't think Domantas Sabonis is now playing well. It's like, oh wow, the team's finally connected. I don't think that's happening. I think we're playing disconnected basketball here.
Maybe. But then you look at a lineup with Domas and DeAndre Hunter and Keegan Murray.
Zach
and
LaVine, who doesn't want to be here. And
Zach LaVine or DeMar DeRozan, and you're mixing in some Neat Clifford, and here comes Dylan Cardwell.
So
and
everyone's just bought in all of a sudden?
Not even bought in, but just being good enough, because we've talked all year about how awful their schedule is down the stretch.
Yeah.
If they get through the trade deadline with no more trades, Domantas Sabonis is playing regularly. Keegan Murray comes back from a shoulder injury. He's playing regularly. You're plugging in DeAndre Hunter to the starting lineup. Is this a team that all of a sudden is going to beat a Brooklyn or a Washington or an Indiana or a New Orleans or a Utah? Like that would be my concern, that they're not in danger of making the play, and they're not going to win 10 in a row. It's not going to be anything crazy like that. Yeah. They're still going to lose to every probably middling to good team. But do they mess around and beat the Blazers? Do they mess around and beat the Mavericks? And now all of a sudden they've stacked up a bunch of wins, and we're sitting here going, wait, how did they get here? How are they out of the bottom 4?
I'd still say no, because we still need to find minutes for Maxime right now. I just don't want to find minutes for Dylan Cardwell. So I'm sure there are games where like, hey, Domas got back soreness today, or just Domas didn't really play as much today. I think you're still going to try and find some minutes. I don't think it's going to be. At
some point, they're just going to go full.
Yeah, there's no rhythm and consistency to me that's going to happen this year.
Sure.
I think it's going to be like, okay, I don't know if you're shutting anyone down, but just more so like, all right, this person's minutes are a little down today. We want to see Nick more today, and things of that nature, rather than, oh yeah, everyone's got their minutes and their roles and things like that. And it's a cohesive unit. Like, I don't think that's happening.
I'm Kyle Madsen. He's Jesse Tapia. This is the debut episode of The Jump. We're hanging out with you every single day from 7 to 9 a.m. D'Lo and KC will be rocking with you from 2 to 6. Remember that commercial-free hour starts at 2:30. James Ham, our Kings insider. You can hear him on Locked On Kings. Kingsbeat.com. He's going to join the guys at 2:30 for that commercial-free hour to break all this down as well, or break down any other trades that may be coming for the Kings. One of the things Scott Perry hammered home in his opening press conference was like, the Kings need a point guard. This team needs a point guard. We're going to get Dennis Schroeder. Malik Monk is not a point guard. We've established that Malik is not a point guard. That's not what he does here. Here's Russell Westbrook. Here's Dennis Schroeder. Oh, draft Neat Clifford. We like what he can do as a distributor, and Dennis Schroeder gets traded. Russell Westbrook gets hurt. Neat Clifford starts at the point. If they think that this is a thing Neat Clifford can do, if this is a real thing that the Kings think Neat Clifford is capable of doing down the stretch, or not down the stretch, excuse me, but down the line, why wasn't he doing this a long time ago? Why was he not getting point guard reps a long time ago? And if you tell me because of Dennis Schroeder, I'm going to flip this table over.
Because of Dennis Schroeder. Flip this
All
table.
right,
Flip the
let's
table
go.
over. Flip it over. Yeah, flip it over. Well, like, I don't know. Tell me why anything has happened this season. Like,
No, I can't.
That's the thing. Like,
no,
nothing is really.
that's why I'm frustrated. That's why I'm annoyed.
Like, I can't tell you
Annoyed is
why.
a lot.
Well, I can't tell you why it hasn't, because like they just been trying things out this year.
well,
Like,
I would like to see.
I don't. There's been no real consistency to me from anything this season. It's just they've been throwing things out there, and now we're in the Nick period where it's like, hey, we'll see how many games he starts at point guard if like, unless Russ comes back and he's ready to go.
I would like to see more of it. If this is now, I thought I didn't love Nick's performance last night.
Yeah.
To be totally frank,
He's a rookie. They're not going to look good right now.
but it's not even like rookie or not. It just didn't. You're playing Washington.
Yeah, but like I said,
you could go look better than he did.
he's playing in a spot where he hasn't really been all season long. So like, it's just, for me, it's like, maybe he's giving too much of a pass, but it's like, all right, don't do that again the next game. Like, he's just, as a rookie, I'm not going to hold it against them right now, given their situation. Not hold it against them,
Well,
because you're
and
not, but just,
So this is why, if this is a real thing that they're looking at, if they're looking at Nick Clifford as a player, and maybe last night was fully just you're the best option out of whatever the hell we've got going on back here.
Yeah.
Maybe that was it. Maybe that's 100%. And Russell Westbrook's going to get healthy. It'll be Russell Westbrook and Malik Monk is the sixth man, and he'll do the ball handling with the second unit, and Nick Clifford will be a non-factor. Maybe that's what this is. Maybe this is just desperation last night. But if this is a real thing that they're going to try moving forward, then he should be starting there every night, trying to figure this out, so we can get away from what you're talking about. Like, he's just never done it before. He doesn't know how to fit in this spot. There's no like cohesive offense around him. Well, let him go figure it out. Let him go play. Let him have the ball in his hands. Let him figure out how to take more than 4 shots.
I don't disagree. That's going to help you more in the long run than starting, who's been fine this year, but starting Russell Westbrook or insert Malik Monk or whoever else. Like, you got to get the young guys minutes.
Yeah.
But we'll see if they do. Like I said, I don't know. If we're seeing right now, and it's like, once Russ is back, hey, he's starting.
One of my greatest concerns for lack of a better term, one of my greatest concerns here is the mentality that got to win every game. And the fact that, because you got to find out with Neek. You got to find out, like, play him. Like, play if you think he can play point guard, and again, maybe last night was a one-off and we'll never see it again. But if that's really what they think he can be, then let him go do it. That's starting Russell Westbrook in the name of what?
In the name of, I'm on a 2-year deal, Kyle, if I'm Doug Christie. I'm on a 2-year deal with a team option. I'm not even on I don't even know if they really believe in me.
Okay.
look at the deal. He's kind of stuck. He's got to do what he can to make sure he makes it to a second deal with his team. I think like that kind of plays into it. If Doug Christie's on a 5-year deal, maybe he is playing Maxime, Dylan, and Neek all the time and things like that. But he's on a 2-year deal. We're not really making much around the league or anything like that. The coach is in a tough position. Maybe it's that.
We'll keep diving into this. The guy who broke the trade, Michael A. Scotto from Hoops Hype. He's going to join us. Mike A. Scotto on Twitter. He is going to join us next. But before we got to do that, guys, the big game is right around the corner. You know it. Seattle, New England. Get in on all the action right now on Underdog. You can make picks. You can win money. If you're not on Underdog yet, good news for you. New customers get $75 in fantasy bonus entries when you make your first $5 fantasy entry. It's really that easy. Here's the lineup I'm rocking with. I'm going to have a bunch of lineups. I think last year for the big game, I had 5 or 6 lineups by the time the game started. Here's my first one. I've got Cooper Kupp higher than 2.5 receptions. I've got Rashid Shaheed higher than 32.5 rushing and receiving yards. When Rashid Shaheed has a huge play, which he's going to, I want to benefit from that. That's all. AJ Barner higher than half a rushing or receiving touchdown. Love that. This feels like one of those classic play action to Kenneth Walker. AJ Barner leaks out. He's wide open corner of the end zone. Easy work, touchdown. And then I'm going Drake May lower than 36.5 rushing yards. I think that's something that Seattle's going to really key on and make sure that he is not running all over them. That is my first lineup for the big game. I'll have a couple more for you throughout the week. The big game is right around the corner. So what are you waiting for? Download the Underdog app today and use promo code KYLEM. That's KYLEM to score $75 in fantasy bonus entries when you play your first $5 on fantasy. That's promo code KYLEM. KYLEM. Underdog. Make picks. Win money. Must be 18 plus and present in California. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. Michael A. Scotto broke the Kings-Cavs trade. We're going to talk about that with him next on ESPN 1320 Sacramento Sports Center. Come on. Let's get Michael in here. Michael, how's it going, man?
Hey, good morning.
Morning. Switching up our... We're at a break on the radio side right now. We're coming back in a couple of minutes. Live on the side, or
Cool.
you can see and hear you. How things going, man?
Good, busy but good. Happy to join you.
Sure, thanks. Yeah, like I said, we'll get you in and out here. I know you got TV stuff.
Yep.
Appreciate you making some time.
Yeah, sure. Anything in particular you want to touch on with Sacramento or anything?
Yeah, just kind of because it looked like there was going to be a first round pick on the table for Keon Ellis. That's a lot of what we were kind of hearing.
Okay.
And then obviously they did not wind up with that. So what did that? What was kind of the impetus to do what they did with the DeAndre Hunter trade?
Sure.
We'll get you there, and then we will get our proper. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Just
sounds good to me.
Yeah, sweet.
Hold on, let me just close this blind real quick. It's like shining on my face. Be right back. That's better.
All right, 2 minutes till we are back.
What's up, Michael? I'm Jesse. Nice to meet you.
Hey, Jesse, how you doing? Trying to think. Only thing noteworthy, Scotto like the lotto.
Scotto, got it.
That's all. Other than that,
Scotto,
happy to
easy
chat.
work. Scotto. We are over at Hoops Hype. Mike A. Scotto.
Yep.
On
That's
Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah, man! And you're based out of New York?
Yeah, I'm in Brooklyn.
Oof.
Yeah,
you can't hear him, Jesse? Oh, I know why. Whoops. There we go. Now you will.
You got Jesse?
Gotcha, Michael.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, my our buddy who's actually joining us in a little bit is with the Kings for the Sacramento Bee, and he was taking all the photos from downtown New York of all the snow, and it's like, man, that is just brutal.
Oh, Weinman?
Biderman.
Biderman, sorry.
Yeah.
I call him Weinman. I'm thinking of the fighter. Cool.
Yeah. I was getting out of the car this morning and walking down to the because I have to park a ways away because I have an electric car, so I plug it in. And I was like, man, it's cold. It's like 41 degrees out and I'm freezing.
Yeah.
I try to
I'd like
call me
41.
for you guys.
It's a lot colder than that.
It's shorts weather.
Yeah, it feels like 19. This is a heat wave now.
It feels like 19. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we've felt a lot colder than that. But yeah. Jesse, anything you wanted to hit on in particular with Sacramento?
Just a lot of stuff on the trade and things like that. Just what we've been talking about.
10
what
seconds.
you've been talking about.
Cool.
All right, here we go, guys. Let's party.
Welcome back to The Jump with Kyle Madsen and Jesse Tapia.
Hey, Kyle Madsen, Jesse Tapia, and our guy Michael A. Scotto from Hoops Hype. He was the guy who broke the Kings-Cavs trade. DeAndre Hunter, of course, coming to the Sacramento Kings. Been talking about that all morning. And now we're going to talk to the guy who broke that story. You can follow him on Twitter at Mike A. Scotto. What's going on, Mike?
Hey, good morning, fellas. Happy to join you.
Yeah, man. Happy to have you here for a few minutes. Just want to, I guess we'll start with the Kings side here. We heard all week last week and really in the couple of weeks leading up to the trade on Saturday that the Kings, man, there's 15 teams calling about Keon Ellis. There's going to be a first-round pick on the table. And not only did they not get a first-round pick, they do get DeAndre Hunter, but they send out a second-round pick in the deal. What happened there with the Kings potentially getting draft capital and then winding up with DeAndre Hunter instead?
Yeah, fellas, I mean, look, when it came to Sacramento with Keon Ellis, the asking price seemed to be a first-round pick. I didn't necessarily think that was going to be on the table. Usually when you set a price, you get one notch below that usually. So I would say there were plenty of offers for several second-round picks. I would say at differing points. If you look at the draft, it was more, I felt like around this point now in the trade deadline cycle, it was closer to multiple second round picks if you just wanted to get off of him on his own. But ideally, they were trying to pair Keon as a sweetener with some of these veteran contracts that they wanted to kind of get off of and go towards a younger rebuild, which in this case they were able to do with Dennis Schroeder. But so while they shave off an extra year of his salary in 2027-28, you bring back Hunter, who next year is going to be on an expiring contract. They feel like he's a better fit alongside Keegan Murray. It's going to open up some minutes for Neek Murray on the ball. It opens up a spot for them to convert Dylan Cardwell. But I understand big picture kind of where you guys are coming from with Keon. He was also in different variations with Malik Monk, particularly in the Sacramento Kings trade talks, but Cleveland didn't want the money that was owed to Malik. They preferred Dennis Schroeder. Plus, Schroeder's a guy that, given the uncertainty with Darius Garland and his injuries this year, is a capable backup, and they've always liked Keon Ellis. So, ultimately, I always felt Keon was going to be moved with one of these veteran guys. It ended up being Schroeder. There were some talks with DeMar, including Keon, some with Malik, but this was the one that got it done ultimately.
For a team in their position with a rebuild looking not as bleak, but just looking like it might take a while, why did they choose to go the DeAndre Hunter route rather than taking a couple of seconds for Keon Ellis?
Because they felt they liked Hunter's age and positional size. They felt like they could take a swing with him. And plus, with him going into an expiring contract next year, if you theoretically had to flip it, it becomes an asset. It's a salary range that's certainly movable. And I would say that Sacramento's still going to be at least trying to be active here. I don't think this is the only move that they're trying to make. We'll see if it happens or not. But certainly, with Domantas Sabonis, DeMar DeRozan, and these other guys, they'll look to see what else they can try to do leading into Thursday's trade deadline.
Michael A. Scotto, senior NBA insider over at Hoops Hype, joining us here on The Jump. I want to flip over to the Cavs side of this. Okay. What did the Cavs see here with acquiring Dennis Schroeder and acquiring Keon Ellis? Like, what's the impetus behind this move for them?
Sure, a couple things from Cleveland's perspective. One, Jalen Tyson has emerged a little bit in terms of a guy that they can see as an integral part now going forward that can play for them. And on top of that, again, I touched on the injuries to Darius Garland, something that they have to plan for looking ahead towards the playoffs. If he goes down, you've got a capable guy that can step in, and Dennis Schroeder, similar to what he did with the Detroit Pistons previously before he ended up a Sacramento King. And they've always loved Keon Ellis as a 3-and-D guy, really valuable rotation player they think is going to fit their culture well. And so ultimately that's kind of what this came down to. The last thing I would say from Sacramento, it didn't always seem like DeAndre Hunter was happy there as much as he could have been with the situation. So while he was still a decent player for them, I think ultimately their view was, especially when you could do 2-for-1 here and kind of split up his salary a little bit on the books, it was more advantageous for Cleveland to do so.
Sticking with Keon Ellis real quick, did the Kings not view him the way the rest of the league did, or did they just feel like they could have cashed in on an asset here?
I think for
It seemed like he
Sacramento,
had a bunch of suitors around the league.
look, Keon Ellis had no shortage of suitors. I can confirm that. But what I would say is that I think certainly the way that Doug Christie played him was interesting with his minutes fluctuation. I thought he would have played more minutes, especially if you're trying to trade him, but that wasn't the case. So with that said, again, they were trying to package him with one of these vets looking ahead, try to create some more flexibility. I think it's certainly an interesting path. They probably figured, once they didn't try to negotiate a deal with him instead of just picking up the option, I thought that was interesting to me, because I could have made an argument that you could have just did that instead of doing the Schroeder path here. But going into the year, they felt like they were a point guard away from, being a better team. And then that wasn't the case. So on one hand, you try and it didn't work out and you quickly pivot from that. There's something to be said for that instead of holding on too long in terms of a guy like Schroeder, when you see that this team is not where they want it to be. And now you kind of realize they got to essentially tear it down, and that's going to take time with some of these guys. But again, even next year with DeMar DeRozan, he's got $10 million guaranteed if he, stays on this team. And then you've got Zach LaVine, who has a big player option, but they would both be in the last year of their deals. Anytime, I don't care who it is, if you don't play at all, an expiring contract in the league is valuable. So look, at this point, you take a high lottery pick, most likely in the draft somewhere. We don't know where it'll be yet, but you take that. Next year, you're making steps towards moving away from this trio of Domantas Sabonis, Zach LaVine, and DeMar DeRozan. Just might take a little bit more time.
Talking with Michael A. Scotto, senior NBA insider over at Hoops Hype. I want to stick on those three guys that you just mentioned. Is there any market for Domantas Sabonis, Zach LaVine, or DeMar DeRozan before the trade market, or are we just kind of dead set on going into next year, laying it out the way you just did?
Well, I mean, for Domantas Sabonis, who was it? Well, a couple of teams. One, they talked with Washington a little bit about him. This was a little bit before Trae Young happened. I think Washington wanted to be compensated a little bit if they were going to take him on. It didn't seem like something Sacramento necessarily wanted to do. So right now, I would say clubhouse leader, if Domantas Sabonis was going to get moved, would be the Toronto Raptors, because they've shown consistent interest in him, which I first reported dated back over the summer, where they checked in on him, and Toronto's always kind of been big name hunting. Now, with that said, you look at R.J. Barrett, who previously was drafted by Kings GM Scott Perry when he was with the New York Knicks. Toronto's also been trying to get off of Ochai Agbaji to duck the luxury tax. So that's something there. I think the big question here would be, to make the money work, would there be a third team that takes Emmanuel Quickley or Jakob Poeltl, which I am told Sacramento does not want to do.
Got you. And then we'll get you out on this. Where's Giannis going, Michael?
It's going to happen? Is it happening?
Is he out here?
I was going to say, is that a trick question? What if he doesn't go anywhere?
Yeah, is he going somewhere? Do you think he could be on the move?
I've always had this logical stance that if anybody was going to acquire Giannis now, the best trade package on paper would most likely come from Golden State because of the amount of draft picks that they have. They can put a swap in as well. You've got financially the ability to make it work with either Jimmy Butler or Draymond Green. Jonathan Kuminga is a young player, Moses Moody, Brandon Podziemski, all the checklist items that Milwaukee would theoretically want in this package if they're going to move a superstar of his caliber is there to make it happen. Now, if this goes into the summer, obviously he's been linked to Miami and New York. Like Minnesota doesn't have picks to give. They don't. They have players, but they don't have picks. So Miami, who's certainly been a team that's been looking at Giannis as the great white whale for years, they can offer more picks in the summer if a trade package doesn't get done now. New York will also have more access to picks, and I just think it's going to be tough for New York because, again, you're player-based on a trade. You'd have to move Towns and either one of OG or Mikal to get something done to get those picks back. It's just a lot of maneuvering and hard to do in a few days, realistically. So again, logically, if something was going to happen now, you would think Golden State. And over the summer, it could open up more possibilities. Miami has stuff that they could do now, but I think their package would be better in the summer. And so we'll see if Milwaukee holds on to Giannis or not. And remember, ultimately, someone, whether it's Milwaukee or somebody else, can offer Giannis $275 million October 1st. Now, if he's traded, then that date would probably be pushed back a little bit. I think it was sometime in January, if I remember correctly. But let's not slip on that $275 million. Pretty sure Giannis wants to take that to the bank.
Michael A. Scotto. Follow him on Twitter at Mike A. Scotto. Thank you so much for joining us. Senior NBA insider over at Hoops Hype. He broke the Kings Cavs trade news. So make sure to give him a follow on Twitter at Mike A. Scotto. Michael, thank you so much for making time for us, man. And we'll talk to you soon.
You got it, fellas. Have a great rest of your day.
You do the same. Mike. Michael A. Scotto, NBA insider over at Hoops Hype. One of the best. That was great.
Yeah. We'll see if the Raptors are able to make a move for Domantas Sabonis, I guess.
That feels like the only.
I think it's the only option right now.
I think I also meant to ask about Malik Monk too, because I think I've always thrown DeMar DeRozan into that group because he's 36, so I've always thrown him into that bucket. But I think Malik Monk is more the guy who, if they're gonna make another trade, it's not happening with LaVine.
Yeah, Minnesota's been thrown around with Malik Monk as far as a team that could be.
Yeah, that feels that's the one where, and again, maybe they hit pause on everything because, Giannis is now on the table, which might just hose the Kings out of whatever they had cooking. Maybe if the Giannis news doesn't break, maybe we see Domantas Sabonis traded to Toronto. Maybe we see Malik Monk traded to Minnesota.
Yeah.
Maybe those kind of deals get facilitated, but I do think that's, if they can clear out one of those couple of deals to bring in a first round pick, to maybe bring in a young player, I would like the deadline a lot more.
Yeah, you didn't give him a grade for it, but for me, we talked about moving off of one of the big deals.
We love grades.
If you're able to move off of like Sabonis, I don't think LaVine is happening. I just don't think that's happening. No, but if you were able to move off of Domantas Sabonis like at the deadline right here, I think that'd be an A deadline for the Kings.
I'm not sure if they get out from under one of those.
Yeah, if they trade Sabonis, I don't think that's LaVine is happening. So like realistically, if you were able to work out a deal with the Raptors,
what if they traded Malik Monk? Let's say it's Rob Dillingham and whatever.
I wouldn't give him an A. You probably get a B or something like that, B- type deadline. Like I think if you were gonna go after like Rob Dillingham or someone who doesn't get much time in Minnesota, then like I'd take a flyer on him. But I think an A would be moving off of Sabonis. You're able to give Max and Dylan Cardwell some more minutes, and it just helps you move forward, I think. Because I don't think Sabonis is part of this team's future.
I'm Kyle Madsen. That's Jesse Tapia. This is The Jump. We're hanging out with you every single day, 7 to 9 a.m. right here on ESPN 1320. Super psyched for our new lineup. Of course, ESPN 1320 is the Rich Eisen show, is going to run from 9 to noon. We'll have The Jump Rewind, which will be anything you missed from this show. You can hear it again at noon. And then that leads right into D-Lo and KC at 2 o'clock, and they will take you home on the afternoon drive from 2 to 6.
Shout out to The Jump. I'm finally in the big boy studio. I'm looking at the board.
This is big time for you.
Yeah, takes with stakes. You guys have just been messing around with the board, huh?
What do you mean?
Well, it's like you got Kings win 3 out of 4 from January 16 to 21.
Oh, we just haven't erased anything.
Well, I'm just saying, like Kenny, Texans will make the AFC Championship. No. Kenny, Seahawks will not win a playoff game. No. The Thunder cannot beat the Spurs. We'll see. Jesse, Sixers will have a better record than the Bulls.
I feel like that's
Tracks.
Tracks. Okay.
Eagles will lose in the wild card.
They
W.
did.
49ers will lose to Seahawks by at least 2 scores. Another W.
All right.
I'm just saying.
No, you're doing a good job. That's fine.
Thank you.
We need to get a separate camera just for the take board. Honestly, so we can show people what it looks like.
Yeah. See, Will Z, shout out Will Z. Said he loves this for Jesse. Same.
I do too.
Yeah.
No, this is great. No, it's cool. It's cool.
Very cool.
Cool, man. I want to put a pin in the Kings very, very briefly. We're going to have Chris Biderman of the Sacramento Bee. He has been with the Kings this entire road trip. And I would love to know what the vibes are like in the Kings locker room leading up to the Keon and Dennis Schroeder trade, after the Keon and Dennis Schroeder trade, after losing to Washington last night. They didn't win a game on the road trip. It's been freezing cold in every city they've been in. They've had some travel delays.
It's been pretty miserable, it sounds.
It's been miserable. So we'll talk to Chris Biderman of the Sacramento Bee about that. We can also ask him about the 49ers hiring Raheem Morris as their defensive coordinator.
Yeah, I got some questions about that.
Go ahead.
Like, why is that a good hire?
Because it's not Gus Bradley. That's what I've been able to surmise. Because it's funny. I think there's a coaching style or maybe like a motivation style that goes into it, and maybe that's what people are excited about. Raheem Morris is the defensive coordinator for the world champion Rams back in 2021. But it's not like those teams were dominant top 5 defenses.
No, I got numbers. Let me pull those up.
Yeah, they're fine. He's very middle of the road.
Yeah, 2021, they were 17th in yards, 15th in points. 2022, 19th in yards, 20th in points. 2023, 20th in yards, 18th in points. And if you look at the Falcons, that's basically where they've been to.
The Falcons, I tried to find a stat where the Falcons defense last year, and he wasn't the defensive coordinator. He didn't call the defensive plays. That was Jeff Ulbrich. But I went to go try and find a stat where they were like outstanding or really awful in one direction or the other. And they were mid.
Yeah, just middle of the pack as it gets.
Between like 14th and 18th in everything. So I guess it's fine. Kyle Shanahan knows him really well. The biggest thing for me is how do players respond to him? Because from what I understand, he's well liked by players. But B, is this a person, because the 49ers are undergoing a little bit of a transition defensively. A, just adjusting to offenses, but B, or adjusting to kind of the new wave of NFL offenses, but B, being able to adapt to having a new group of players. You might have 2 new starting safeties. You might have a new starting corner next year. You might have a couple of new defensive linemen next year. You might have a couple of new linebackers next year. Is this going to be a person who's in that defensive coordinator chair for 3-4 years who can adapt and evolve with a new group of players? That's what I'm interested to see. And then the Falcons, remember last year, they needed pass rush help. So they drafted Jalen Walker 15th. Undersized, like tweener, edge, linebacker type of player. And the big thing was, well, he's just not an edge rusher in a 4-3 scheme, which is what the Niners run. He's not an edge rusher. He's just not big enough for that. Well, they just said, hey, this guy's a playmaker. We'll just get him on our team, and we'll figure it out. And then they traded up back into the first round. They traded a 2026 first-round pick and some other stuff to get the 26th pick from the Rams and a third-round pick, I think, they also got. But they made that jump up because they said, we need another edge rusher. We're going to take a huge swing to move back up into the first round and draft another edge rusher. They get James Pierce out of Tennessee. And Pierce, I think, finished with 10.5 sacks, and I think Jalen Walker had 5.5. So they needed pass rush help, and they took these 2 massive swings with Raheem Morris as the head coach to go get pass rush help. I wonder if he looks at the Niners defense and says, oh, Nick Bosa come back healthy, Michael Williams come back healthy, we'll be fine. Or does he look and go, look, this is what we did in Atlanta last year. We needed to overhaul our pass rush. This is how we did it. Does that impact how the 49ers want to build moving forward? Those are the 2 kind of major questions I have.
Yeah, I think they're going to need reinforcements. I just don't love leaning on Nick Bosa again after a second big injury.
Yeah, you're leaning on Nick Bosa after his second major injury in the pros.
Uh-huh.
He also had an ACL tear before that. Michael Williams coming back off an ACL, but Michael Williams isn't even like a true edge rusher in the way that Nick Bosa is, or even Bryce Huff is.
Uh-huh.
So that's putting a lot on a second-year player to just kind of pick up where he left off and continue this development arc that he was on. And then having Bryce Huff be awesome because of the return of those 2 guys.
Yeah, like Fred Warner.
There has to be more.
Yeah, I'm less worried about a guy like Fred Warner. I think he'd be fine, but I think you need reinforcements on that defensive line.
I agree.
It's time. I think I will talk about it with Chris Biderman coming up at 8:30, but it's time. Like they might need like another big swing or at least a move where it's like, okay, they brought someone who's going to have an impact rather than, let's kind of feel around the edges and hope these guys are able to accumulate maybe 5 sacks each or something like that, where it's just all hands on deck.
I think last year might have impacted how the 49ers view their team moving forward. They went into last year not thinking they could win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's why we saw them really make no moves at the deadline.
Yeah.
And you wondered, well, hindsight doesn't really matter, but like you wonder if maybe they were kicking themselves in the ass after that because it's like, hey, if we did make a move at the deadline, like maybe we do go a little bit farther.
Maybe you only lose to Seattle by 28.
Yeah, maybe I only predict them to lose by 1 score.
Yeah,
who knows?
Maybe. but they went into this year going, we'll see what this looks like in January. And maybe the rookies will develop enough that we're competitive. the fact that they were as banged up as they were, and remember the non moves at the trade deadline started with the offseason when Leonard Floyd gone, Javon Hargrave gone, Malik Collins gone. They just let a ton of players go out. Dre Greenlaw didn't re-sign him. Talanoa Hufanga gone. They made all these moves to let these veterans go, thinking, all right, it's going to be a year for young players. We're just going to kind of play this out. We'll see how it goes. Well, then they get super hurt and they wind up winning 12 games. I don't think you can go into this offseason going, okay, this is just another year for growth. It's like, no, you were right there. If there's a big swing to make for a pass rusher, for two pass rushers, for a receiver, whatever it is, if there's a big swing to make, I think you've got to take it.
To me, they're a team with a high floor right now where it's like, yeah, they're probably a wild card team as is, things like that. But hey, George Pickens is a free agent. We hear about A.J. Brown every year, it seems. Who knows what the Bengals are doing with their two highly paid wide receivers. Like, you make one move like that or a move just kind of on the defensive side of the ball that just brings in a player like that, like, yeah, you're probably talking Super Bowl contender again.
Yeah, and that's what I think this year showed. It makes me think that they'll look at this differently, knowing that
I think it's time. Like CMC was what, 3 years ago? That move?
2022.
Yeah. So it's probably time for another impact player.
Yeah.
And you see what the Seahawks are looking like. The Rams just never stop.
Well, and it's time for another impact player because Brandon Ayuk's gone. Ricky Pearsall can't stay on the field. Christian McCaffrey, as good as he was this year, did not look as effective as he was in 2022 and 2023, certainly.
See what the contracts look like. But Juwan Jennings is the finest wide receiver you can get for your wide receiver 3, not your wide receiver 1.
Correct.
Yes. George
Kittle's got the Achilles. Like they need a influx of like a star talent.
Yeah.
And again, if they were reticent to do that before, because like, oh, not sure how good, like, dude, you won 12 games with whatever that roster was last year. Like, you gotta, if you can go for it, you have to. And I think letting Brandon Ayuk go the way they did and opening up that amount of salary will maybe open the door to them doing that. Let's get out to the phone lines, 916-909-1320, 916-909-1320. Let's get out to Don. What's up, Don?
What's up, you guys?
What's up,
I got two things, Kyle and Jesse. First of all, phenomenal, Jesse. This is a long time coming. I think since day one, a lot of us have been like, hey, this dude, he going to have a show one day. So to see you make it come into fruition, and you make it happen, kudos to you for putting in that work, bro.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you guys in the chatty house.
But I have, and Kyle, Kyle, you're cool too, bro. You're cool.
Wow, that's so nice of you. Thanks, Manny.
Just like, you know I love you, Kyle. Hey, so I joke about this on Twitter a couple of times, but like, why do the Bulls have to be involved in every Sacramento Kings trade? Like, I feel like they do not do a trade unless the Bulls are somehow involved in the trade. Like, it's like, all right, well, if we can get the Bulls involved, maybe Vooch comes over here. Maybe we get, you're like, I feel like we're going to end up with Bulls West over here.
Yeah. Thanks, Manny. Appreciate the call. I don't actually know. It was really clear they wanted Zach LaVine.
Vacation in the offseason together, front offices.
So they went to get Zach LaVine. And this time, the Bulls are in that weird kind of rebuilding stage where they have a player they like in Kobe White. Maybe they like Ayo Dosunmu. Maybe they like what Modest Buzelis is. But, man, they got to get off Voos. And Patrick Williams is still there. And I think they're just in a place where, cool, we can get out from under Zach LaVine's contract. Great, we'll do it. And then this time they had the room and the space to facilitate the trade. So they just went, cool, hey, we can get some assets to do it. Like, they're in asset collection mode. And I think that's where this kind of comes from. They're just doing a good job collecting assets, and the Kings are trying to continually get rid of them.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, you think, hey, maybe you want to be the team that collects assets this time? But
we'll see.
Yeah,
maybe.
We'll see what direction they're headed.
All right. Chris Biderman from the Sacramento Bee is going to join us. He's been with the Kings on this entire dreary winless road trip. We'll talk to him and get his thoughts on where the Kings are at. We'll also talk to him about some Niner stuff. And we have some Raiders news to get to. It looks like the Raiders have their head coach. We'll get to all that in the final segment of The Jump here on ESPN 1320, Sacramento Sports Leader. Hi, Seth. I broke it. I know. Okay. You should have a new segment called Stating Oh, okay.
You gotta credit me for that.
Okay.
Seth just cooked your ass right now.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Captain Obvious segment, sponsored by Seth.
It's called stating the obvious.
Stating the
I wouldn't
God
call
damn
you
it.
captain. Come
God
on.
damn it.
So typical Kyle. Trying to give yourself a nautical title. What did you do?
Broke it.
What did you, when you said you unplugged something, what did you unplug?
Everything. I
Do you want to
unplugged.
be a part of the solution or part of the problem?
I unplugged. Well, let's see. Unplugged this,
Mm-hmm.
and then that was to try and get it to work.
Mm-hmm.
I also.
It's all good, guys. Kyle broke the TV earlier, so try to fix it.
USB.
Lazy right now. I'm leaning towards Seahawks. Patriots are, I don't want to say it. You're too early because they're here, but I think they need like a true wide receiver number one. Yeah, it's literally coming from like the windows out here. Let me see. Ooh, yeah, you see that right there? Beautiful office right there. Oh, high times KG. We did that like 20 different times this morning. So on we went water and Gatorade today. I'm not really a coffee guy. Shout out Mr. Tapia. Who knows? I'll ask Kyle. I'll ask Boss Man about that.
Oh, that looks promising.
No, yeah, Chris, we got like really good views there. The windows are hella
Oh,
big and stuff like
I
that.
didn't send. Speaking of Chris.
10 out of 10 would recommend. It's fire. It's a good time. That'll be the next segment.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like only 3 words we can't really say.
It's not nearly as many as George Carlin said there is. No, that one's definitely on the list of things you can't say.
Seth, you can, but there's consequences.
You're going to watch me put my dump button training into motion.
Okay. Good.
Appreciate you, Katrina.
When's your next break after?
57. And then we're not live again until 2. Sweet.
What's up, Chris?
Oh, wait, hang on.
What's up? What's up? How's the first show going?
Horribly. Seth, just so you know, we're back in like 10. Yep.
There's a big line for my thing. There we go.
What do you mean? What are you talking about? All right, here we go.
Welcome back to The Jump with Kyle Madsen and Jesse Tapia.
Hey, Kyle Madsen, Jesse Tapia, and the Sacramento Bees, Chris Biderman, also host of the famed Candlestick Chronicles podcast. We'll sprinkle in some 49ers.
World
Chris,
famous Candlestick Chronicles.
yeah, some are saying of all the 49ers podcasts, it is one of them. Chris Biderman joining us now. Chris, how's it going, man? Are you home yet?
I'm hopping on a flight in a few hours. I'm not home yet. Still in Washington, D.C. But like the Kings, very excited to get back to Sacramento.
Yeah, that's kind of where I wanted to start. Winless road trip. They've lost 14 in a row now on the road. They've lost 9 in a row overall. They just traded Dennis Schroeder and Keon Ellis. Has there been like a dramatic vibe shift in the locker room over the course of this road trip and post trade?
I wouldn't really say it's a vibe shift. I would say probably within the last month or so, there's been just kind of this feeling of resignation around the team. Like these guys know what it is. They know that The season is, in shambles. They're going to have one of the worst records in the league. A lot of the guys are being talked about in trades. Like, they just kind of know what it is. And to their credit, that they're professional. They're going out and playing. It's not like a completely dysfunctional group. I don't think everybody sees eye to eye with Doug Christie, but I don't think it's all that much different than any other dynamics with other coaches. I just think it kind of is what it is for them at this point, and they know what the situation is. They know the situation sucks, and they're trying to get through it. And this road trip was difficult. They had all sorts of delays in Cleveland and Detroit when the snow hit, and then there was an Arctic blast that stuck with them throughout the road trip. Today in DC, the Kings left last night, but today in DC, it's 29 degrees, and that's the warmest it's been since I joined the team in New York. So it's the vibes are tough. They weren't, they were a little saddened with the Keon Ellis and Dennis Schroeder trade, but those guys are both well liked in the locker room. So yeah, it just kind of is what it is. I wouldn't say it's anger. I would say it's more just like frustration, and everybody's pretty resigned to what the situation is.
Do you think it could? I don't know. I don't want to say better because it's like not like they're going to be winning a bunch of games after the deadline. But say this Keon Schroeder deal is the last trade they make. Do you think there's any just kind of sense of relief? This is what it is. Let's just kind of be connected, play in rhythm going forward, or is it just kind of be what we've seen so far? You think? I mean,
even if they make some trades and go into full-on tank mode the rest of the way, like, these guys are still getting paid an obscene amount of money to play basketball. And I think ultimately, like, you talk to them and that's kind of where their head's at. They're like, well, is this a great situation? No, but I mean, I'm an NBA player making a generational wealth. Like, I'm doing fine, like, in the grand scheme of things. So I think that's kind of where they're at. I asked DeMar DeRozan that specific question, like, do you have an appetite for a rebuild? He's like, like, I'll do kind of whatever it takes. Like, he's very respectful of the game, respectful of the process, and understands that if he's on this team and it's, rebuilding mode, tank mode, and they're just developing the young guys, he's going to be there to try to help out. Now, will the Kings try to do right by him and buy him out and maybe allow him to join a contender? I think that's certainly on the table. I know they're trying to trade him, so we'll see if they can get anything done from that standpoint. But no, like, if and when they go into full tank mode, I don't get the sense that it's going to be this like ultra toxic environment. I think it's just going to be guys playing basketball and enjoying cashing the paychecks.
Chris Biderman of the Sacramento Bee joining us here on The Jump. So you talk about when they go into tank mode. Do you think we're close to that? Because it felt like last night was a prime opportunity to fully pull the plug on that game, but instead you see DeMar DeRozan playing big minutes in the fourth quarter. You see Zach LaVine playing big minutes in the fourth quarter. And obviously when those guys are on the court, they're going to try and go win the game. Do you think that we're going to see that continue where we see veterans in those crunch time situations, or are we going to start transitioning into the younger players getting those minutes? And if they win, fine, but knowing that winning is not necessarily the top priority.
Well, you still saw Isaiah Stevens play the entire fourth quarter, and you saw Daquan Plowden play, I think, 9 minutes in the fourth quarter. So, yeah, I think there's going to be a mix. I mean, Doug Christie's a proud guy. He doesn't like to lose. He's not just going to punt on these games because he is a prideful guy. And there is some semblance of, hey, like, let's give these young guys experience with the veterans so they know what this feels like. They know what it looks like to perform in crunch time. And I know the Kings lost, but DeMar, for better or worse, was performing in crunch time last night. So we'll see. Like, I don't have a great feel for that, but Doug Christie, again, prideful guys, played DeMar and Russ when healthy basically the entire season. So I don't know that I would necessarily expect that to change. And I don't know how much Russ would love that. Russ isn't playing because he's hurt. He might be an outlier when it comes to that personality. He might say, look, buy me out if this is just going to be a rebuilding project. Or he might just say, look, like, I'm down for the cause. I'm down to help these guys develop. He's been a great teammate from everything I can observe. So I don't know. We'll see about that. That's a really good question, and I wish I had a better answer.
What do you make of the job that Doug Christie has done so far this season? You mentioned earlier some guys might not necessarily be bought in. Just like, what do you make of the job he's done so far?
I don't feel like anybody on this team is optimized, right? And it's definitely a chicken or the egg thing because the roster is bad. Like we know the roster has not fit together for some time, but the way put it this way, I'll judge Doug Christie based on the expectations that they set for themselves coming into the season. Mm-hmm. And Doug Christie was talking about competing. They were talking about, being a good defensive team, being one of the best conditioned teams in the league. And I don't know how well conditioned they are, but they're one of the worst teams in the league. And yeah, they've had injuries, but I don't feel like anybody on this team is optimized. I don't feel like I don't feel like they have any real offensive system. And even if you ask Doug Christie about the offense, he's always trying to say, well, we'll move the ball and play with pace, but I really don't care about the offense. Let's focus on defense. And you're focusing on defense, and you're still the 28th, 29th defense in the NBA for most of the season. So based on the expectation of, we want to compete, we want to win, we have all these Hall of Fame guys, et cetera, it's really hard to say that Doug Christie's been doing a great job given the results, albeit they have been injured. But, just judging them on the expectations that they set coming into the season, it's impossible for me to say that Doug Christie's done a good job.
Chris Biderman of the Sacramento Bee joining us. He's been on the road with the Kings and is still, I guess, on the road with the Kings. Gets to head back today. The DeAndre Hunter trade. What do you make of this? Was this just the Kings trying to correct a mistake in acquiring Dennis Schroeder, or is there something kind of more to it?
So I think in a vacuum, the trade in itself, just the transaction of getting DeAndre Hunter, I think is actually a good one. And I think it makes sense for the Kings on a couple of different levels. I know people are talking about, well, you're in a long-term rebuild and this is a win now move. I would say if you're trying to develop Nick Clifford and your young guys, you want everybody to play their natural positions. And because the Kings lack wing depth, none of these guys have really been able to play their natural positions for any prolonged stretch, right? When Keegan Murray's been out, it's been a lot of DeMar DeRozan at power forward. And it's been a lot, Zach LaVine is more of a shooting guard than a three. Nick Clifford is more of a shooting guard than a three. And Nick Clifford played point guard last night because Russell Wilson is out, or Russell Westbrook is out. But yeah, he wasn't there either. But the main point here is that at least when if Keegan Murray's going to be injured, at least you have a capable wing that allows Nick Clifford to play the two guard instead of the three, or that allows DeMar DeRozan to play the three instead of the four, right? So when you're developing these guys over the next couple of years, you can slot them into their natural positions. And we talk about Keegan Murray Keegan Murray's offensive game is really struggling because of all the defensive burden he has. Well, at least now you have another wing who can maybe help Keegan from that standpoint. I don't know how good of a defender DeAndre Hunter is. I know there are a lot of metrics that say he isn't a great defender, but at least now Keegan Murray has a little bit of help, so you don't feel like, well, Keegan's so burdened defensively that it's really impacting his offensive game. So maybe it helps Keegan Murray too. So from that standpoint, and the fact that he's an expiring after next season, the Kings are talking a lot about having all their powder dry for 2027. And that's fine and good. But the downside, the real part of this criticism for me from this DeAndre Hunter trade is that, man, you signed Dennis Schroeder. You talked about him as being a building block. You very clearly overpaid for him. It was a bad contract. And now you have to include Keon Ellis just to get off this mistake that you made 6 months ago. Mm-hmm. And so that, to me, is the point of criticism. Getting DeAndre Hunter, I think, makes a lot of sense. The process that it took to get there is the really problematic one. And the Kings can talk about, we're going to have all this cap space in 2027. Well, you just made a big signing that was, he was your quote-unquote number one guy. And this is going to be your quote-unquote building block. I don't know how fans can be confident that this team is going to handle having cap space in 2027 when what they just did with Dennis Schroeder turned out to be such a massive failure that they had to include Keon Ellis and not get any draft compensation for Keon, on top of the fact that it felt like Keon wasn't maximized as an asset. And if Keon had been a regular part of the rotation, and if Keon had been in an offense that made sense and thrived in that offense, and maybe you do get a first-round pick for him. And he's not just a throw-in and some sweetener deal to get off of a contract. Maybe he's a real trade asset for you. So I would say Keon's been mismanaged. I think that's pretty clear given the way this whole thing turned out. So yeah, my nuanced take is, DeAndre Hunter in a vacuum is a good acquisition for the Kings, but the process and the signing of Dennis Schroeder and the handling of Keon Ellis has been very problematic. And I think it's I don't know how it bodes for the Kings going forward, but I would say that this Scott Perry, Doug Christie regime is off to maybe not the best start in the first year of their tenures.
Thank you. Just real quick, thank you for providing the nuanced take, even though I didn't ask for it. That's great.
Of course.
What's next for Scott Perry and the Kings? Like, is there a chance like Sabonis could be moved, or is there a chance, hey, this could be the group game 1 of next season?
Yeah, I mean, it could be. I honestly don't know. I don't have much feel for the rest of the league in terms of how they value what the Kings have currently. I would say Malik Monk might be the player that might be easiest to move because there are plenty of teams that need scoring, but I think the Giannis Antetokounmpo situation probably stalled that out, right? Like the Minnesota Timberwolves certainly would have made sense. The Rob Dillingham thing and maybe Mike Conley for Malik Monk would certainly make sense, but I would imagine if they're in the market for Giannis, and that's going to that's going to stall those talks at least until the Giannis situation gets sorted out. So I don't know. We'll see. I mean, Milwaukee would have made sense for Zach LaVine or even Malik Monk, but if they're trading Giannis, that's certainly off the table. There's been a lot of smoke around Domas and Toronto. I think that would certainly make sense, but the Kings don't really have any appetite to take on money beyond 2026, 27, the summer of 27, and any deal seems like it would have to include some, Emmanuel Quickley or Jakob Poeltl who have those big contracts that last years beyond that. So I don't know, man. The Kings are in a tough spot, and I'm not entirely sure how they dig out of it beyond just letting these contracts expire and seeing if they can, maximize what they have with their financial flexibility in 2027.
Chris Biderman, the Sacramento Bee, does a great job covering the Kings. Also does some work covering the 49ers, both for the Bee. He's also on the Candlestick Chronicles podcast. Thoughts on Raheem Morris as the 49ers defensive coordinator?
Yeah, I think if you look at what you would want in the defensive coordinator, head coaching experience, great. That's awesome. He could certainly help with anything that involves the head coaching side. He's close with Kyle Shanahan. They have a really good working relationship and personal friendship. So I would imagine that doesn't hurt. This isn't a Nick Sorensen situation where it's a guy with no experience who is a position coach, who's never been in that seat before. Raheem Morris has tons of experience. He won a Super Bowl with the Rams as defensive coordinator. Like I said, he's been a head coach. And I think he's adaptable from a scheme perspective. So while I understand the numbers having been great, he's not some like elite defensive coordinator where you can say this guy just is an automatic top 5 defensive coach. But I would say in terms of like what's out there, you're not going to get Vic Fangio. It doesn't seem like Jim Schwartz was ever going to be available out of Cleveland. Then Raheem Morris is about as good as you can do. And if he was, a perennially top 5 defensive coach, he probably wouldn't have gotten fired from Atlanta. So, and wouldn't have been available at all. So, I think it's a good hire. I'm kind of in wait and see mode. I think ultimately what's going to define the success for the Niners defense is their personnel, and if they can, make upgrades with the pass rush in particular, if they can, continue to develop their young guys along the defensive interior, if Fred Warner can get back, if they can improve their safety situation. I think the personnel is going to be more important than Raheem Morris in terms of the 49ers' success, but I don't think Raheem Morris is going to be a detriment. So I think the onus is on the front office to upgrade the defense from a personnel perspective, I think, in the offseason.
How likely do you think it is that they upgrade their wide receiver room? Like not with like just a middling guy or anything like that, but do they look at a George Pickens or maybe look to trade for an AJ Brown or anything like that? Last big move was Christian McCaffrey, and it feels like maybe it's time for them to make another one, just take that step up or to compete with Seattle and the Browns.
Yeah, I definitely think so. We've heard the rumors about Justin Jefferson. I don't know how available he is. One guy I've kind of circled in my head without purely speculating is Garrett Wilson with the Jets. The Jets just traded Sauce Gardner. They traded Quinnen Williams. Like he just signed a big contract. He's signed basically throughout his prime. I think that, that could be a really interesting name. And the contract is basically the same as what Brandon Ayuk's would have been. And he has a small cap number in 2026. So you could even make that work this year before his numbers get bigger. going forward. And you know, he missed some time this year with injury, but I think in terms of the type of receiver that the 49ers can go get, if you can get him for a couple seconds, I think that would be great. I don't think they would be opposed to dealing away their first round pick. What is it, 27th overall? For somebody like Garrett Wilson, that to me would make a lot of sense and be of good value, particularly with Trent Williams, you know, coming back and you're not needing a left tackle right now. So that's sort of the direction I think they're headed, and it makes more sense for them to add an established weapon like that than to maybe draft another receiver at the back end of the first round and kind of hope he works out. I think they're still optimistic about Ricky Pearsall, but I think they're realistic in the sense that this guy's, we can't just pencil him in for 1,400 yards and 10 touchdowns next year. Like, he's got a lot of injury issues, availability concerns for sure. The talent's absolutely there, but you would be, if you're trying to win the NFC West and go against these Seattle Seahawks in this elite defense, I think you need playmakers who can separate from coverage, and I think Garrett Wilson makes a lot of sense from that standpoint.
Yeah, can't pencil in Ricky Pearsall for 10 touchdowns. May not even be able to do it for 10 games.
What I was going to say.
At this point, geez Louise. Chris Biderman, Sacramento Bee, does a great job covering the Kings, Niners, a bunch of other stuff. Chris, thanks so much for making time, man, and safe travels home.
Thanks. Congratulations on the new show, and looking forward to making it part of my routine in the morning.
Yeah, man. Appreciate you. We'll talk soon. See ya.
Yes, sir.
Later, Chris.
Chris Biderman, Sacramento Bee, one of the best. And the homie.
Yeah, shout out to Chris Biderman, the homie.
Yeah, man. Salute.
Shout out Michael Scotto, too.
Yeah, shout out to Michael Scotto. And shout out to you listening on 1320 AM, 98.5 FM HD2. If you're watching on YouTube and Twitch, hello. We appreciate everybody dropping by. The very first episode of The Jump. I'm Kyle Madsen. That's Jesse Toppy, and we're rocking with you 7 to 9 every single day, Monday through Friday at least. We're not coming in on Saturday, Sunday. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I'm not waking up at 4:30 on Saturday or Sunday.
Not doing all that. Just want to remind everybody as we're getting ready for the big game in Santa Clara.
The massive game.
We're going to be talking football all week. Kings trade stuff too, like don't get it twisted. But we're going to be looking ahead to the big game, and Tide is the official sponsor of Odyssey's big game coverage. Tune in to ESPN 1320 all week long for nonstop previews and analysis leading up to kickoff on February 8th. If it's got to be clean, it's got to be Tide. And that's what we're doing.
Shout out Tide.
Love Tide.
Shout out Clean Laundry.
I want to very, very quickly, we gotta hit on this before we go. Looks like the Raiders have their next head coach.
Klint Kubiak. They do, it looks like.
It's like Klint Kubiak is going to be the guy if you listen to the insiders, RIP. If you listen to the insiders, I told you a couple weeks ago that's what was going to happen.
Yeah, if you listen to the insiders or if you listen to Tom Brady call, what was it, the Rams Seahawks game? Yeah.
Just everything. Sam Donald makes a sick throw. Wow, what a play call.
Hey, wouldn't this guy be good as the Raiders coach? I think so.
What if this was like a number 1 overall pick, national champion quarterback?
Hey, what do you think it looked like with Fernando Mendoza? Or Brock Bowers or Aston Jeanty, huh?
Yeah. Hey, look what he did with AJ Barner. Can you imagine if he had one of the best tight ends in the sport?
Yeah, no, he wasn't very subtle about that.
No, not at all. So it looks like Klint Kubiak is going to be the Raiders head coach. IMA, we asked, are thumbs up, thumbs down on the DeAndre Hunter trade? And we were both kind of like, just not, it's fine. It's thumb in the middle.
Yeah.
Thumbs up or thumbs down on the Raheem Mostert to the Niners? Sure. Like, I guess the thumb kind of in the middle, trending up if you're 2 thumbs up on Klint Kubiak for me, man.
Shout out to the Raiders. They did something right.
Dude, and look, I don't, and this isn't even, we're just going to, give them some applause. Yeah, give him a round of applause. I don't even know if he's going to be a good head coach. This might go down as a disaster. We have no idea. But the fact that they finally said, okay, here's a offensive-minded head coach, does not have head coach experience. We are getting a number 1 overall pick. We're going to pick a quarterback. We're going to pair him with this coach. We have Ashton Jeanty. We have Brock Bowers. That is, same. We have this foundation. This is the foundation for an NFL team. Like, yes, coach, quarterback, star tight end, star running back. Yeah, that's a really, really star pass rusher.
Yeah.
And Max Crosby, assuming he's going to be there. But if he wants out, I'm sure you can get a first-round pick this year. Like, dude, yeah, this is how you build a foundation. And again, whether it works or not is anybody's guess.
Can't be worse than Josh McDaniels.
It can't be worse than Josh McDaniels. It can't go worse than Pete Carroll. They went the super experienced defensive guy in Pete Carroll. It went down as a disaster. Now they're going the opposite end of the spectrum, and I love it. The
best thing that could ever happen to the Raiders is that Tom Brady started making decisions, because it seems like if you got Mark Davis's ear, then you could have been the head coach of the Raiders. I mean, going from Jack Del Rio to John Gruden, and then McDaniels was in there, and then they passed on Bisaccia. I don't know if that was before or after, but yeah, you got Antonio Pierce, then you go Pete Carroll, and it's like, yeah, they all sound great, but they all just flopped miserably.
Yeah, now
this is the first one. It's like, oh, they're finally going where the rest of the league is going.
Yes, with a coach who had a ton of success this year, taking Sam Darnold to the Super Bowl. Go get that guy. Go get him.
Was with the Saints a couple seasons ago, I believe, right?
Last season,
yeah.
Yeah, like that was Kyle Shanahan. Wow, he took Matt Ryan to an MVP in the Super Bowl. Like, yeah, get that guy in the building and we'll figure it out.
I think he's the perfect coach for Fernando Mendoza too. If you're going one, if you're taking him one, I think he'll put him in. I don't know how physically talented Mendoza's going to be in the NFL. He feels like a guy like maybe a Sam Darnold ceiling, where it's like you put him in the right system and he makes the right decisions, you can be successful. So I feel like getting Klint there's good.
Want to remind everybody real quick, the big game right around the corner. Football's biggest stage right around the corner. You got to jump on Underdog. I'm already there. I'm going to have multiple lineups for the big game. I've already got one down. I'm going to give it to you here in a second. It's super easy. You download the app. You pick higher or lower. They got a ton of player stats. Like, get the app now ahead of Sunday. Because if you try and jump on the app Sunday, you're going to be overwhelmed. There's so much to look at. So jump on the app now. And if you want to get a lineup in now, if you're like, oh, I just want to, here's mine. Here's what I've got. Cooper Kupp higher than 2.5 receptions. Rashid Shaheed higher than 32.5 rushing and receiving yards. AJ Barner higher than half a rushing and receiving touchdown. Drake May lower than 36.5 rushing yards. That's the lineup I'm rocking with. The first one. I'll have a bunch more. That's the lineup I'm rocking with, and you should do the same. So what are you waiting for? Download the Underdog app today and use promo code KyleM. That's KYLEM to score $75 in fantasy bonus entries when you play your first $5 on fantasy. That's promo code KyleM, KYLEM. Underdog. Make picks. Win money. Must be 18 plus and present in California. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms _DFS_.html for details. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org. Got anything else?
We
do. No, we do have more stuff, but we got to get going.
All right, how much time do we have?
We have 20 seconds.
Shout out to the Tapia, shout out to the DLT, shout out to the Vegas, shout out to the Cardozas, shout out Modesto, shout out Sacramento, shout out to the Indigas, and that's all I got.
All right, perfect. Want to do it again tomorrow?
Yes.
All right, the jump back tomorrow, 7 a.m. right here on ESPN 1320. Salute to everybody who rocked with us today and everybody who's rocking with us moving forward. A reminder, D-Lo and KC starts at 2. Rich Eisen is next. James Ham joins D-Lo and KC at 2:30 here on ESPN 1320, Sacramento Sports Leader. Until tomorrow at 7. Drink water. Be nice, people. Woo! Cool. We're done.
Did a show.
I think we did it.
Shout out. Shout out to the chat house.
I can wait on this. I don't have to get it out of here right away. This is great.
You're good.
How do you guys think it went? You guys think it went okay?
I think it went all right.
All right.
It was a fun time.
Okay. I'm going to get all this stuff loaded for the jump rewind. So, hey, Chatty House, here's what we're working on. Not sure this is going to work, but we're going to try. We're going to try and take this video, download it, upload it back to StreamYard, and re-air it at noon. You guys don't have to pay attention, but that way the chat's at least open. D-Lo and KC will be in here ready to go. It'll take you right up to D-Lo and KC at 2:00. So that's the goal. We're crossing our fingers that works. If not, Jesse will have the stream up and D-Lo and KC will be live around 2:00.
Yep.
Groovy?
Yep.
Cool. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate you for hanging out with us in the morning.
They will be back at some point. Don't worry. We're working on it.
Yeah. And if you have any constructive criticism, you can email jesse.tapia@odyssey.com.
Facts. I want to email you back, but
yeah. But yeah, we'll get the screens going. We'll have actual production moving forward.
Jose, we're 7 and jump, 7 to 9 in the morning. Rich Eisen 9 to noon. The jump rewind noon to 2. D-Lo and KC 2 to 6, and then 1 hour of running back after that, 6 to 7. Right?
Uh-oh, I got out a minute early.
Oh, that's all good. Just throw some PSAs on there. But yeah, that's the lineup.
Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do that.
Shout out Stanley. Like I said, what a leadoff hitter today.
All right, guys. Appreciate you. See you tomorrow. Well, Jesse will see you later.